Hello everyone. Today we will discuss one more important topic of thorax, that is movement in respiration. Now first of all, what is respiration? In respiration we all know we have two processes, inspiration and expiration. What is inspiration? In this there is increment in the thoracic volume. So this will cause increment in the negative interthoracic pressure of the thoracic cavity. So the air is sucked inside because of the negative interthoracic pressure. While in expiration there is decrease in the thoracic volume. So what happens? There is positive interthoracic pressure, so the air is exhaled out. Now the rate of respiration in normal adult human being is 18 per minute average. In child, in small babies, it is faster, and in the old person it is little bit slower. Now in the inspiration, as I told you before, that there is increase in the thoracic volume. Now how we will able to increase the thoracic volume? We have mainly three ways. We can increase its vertical diameter, we can increase its anterior posterior diameter and its transverse diameter. Okay, so for increasing the vertical diameter means this portion, means this side in the vertical direction, we have mainly two possibilities. Either the roof is raised or the floor is lowered. Okay, but in the roof we have tough suprapleural membrane, so it can't move, so the roof cannot move to increase the vertical diameter. So of course the remaining one is the floor. In the floor we have diaphragm, which is easily movable, and so it will contract. Okay, the diaphragm will contract and the central tendon of the diaphragm will descend down, and both the domes of the diaphragm will get flattened, and this will cause increase in the vertical diameter of the thoracic cavity. Now second one is the anterior posterior diameter increment. In this, what happens is, when the sternum moves forward and upward, each ribs act as lever, where the fulcrum of the lever is at lateral to the tubercle. Okay, is at lateral to the tubercle. The two arms of the lever are formed. That means anterior one is the longer and the posterior one is the shorter. Means we have lever somewhat over here, lateral to tubercle, means the fulcrum is over here, and so we got two main arms, longer anterior arm and the shorter posterior arm. So thus even slight movement of the vertebral column, even this slight movement of this vertebra will cause a greater movement of the anterior part of the rib because it is longer. Since anterior end is at lower position than the posterior end as shown in the figure, it is easily visible that anterior one is at the lower position than the posterior. So when the ribs elevate, it will take the sternum upward and forward direction, just like in the pump handle. Okay, in the pump handle the same thing happens. So that's why this process is also known as the pump handle movement of ribs, because as the ribs moves, as the ribs elevate, this will cause the sternum to move upward and forward. This process is also known as the vertebrosternal movement because there is movement of vertebral column and the sternum. Now third diameter is the transverse diameter increment. What happens to increase the transverse diameter? As you can see, the middle of the shaft of the ribs lies at the lower end than the plane passing through the two ends, that is the anterior and posterior, means the middle part of the ribs are at the lower position than the anterior and the posterior part of the ribs. So when the elevation of the ribs occurs, the shaft moves outward and upward. When the ribs elevate, this shaft, because the middle portion is at the lower level than the anterior and posterior part, the shaft of the ribs will go outward and upward. So this same thing occurs in the bucket. In this bucket handle, the middle of this handle is at the lower position than the anterior and posterior. So same thing occurs in the ribs also. So this process is also known as the bucket handle movement of ribs, also called as a vertebrochondral movement. Now the muscles of the respiration, very important for Viva aspects as well. It can be asked in Viva also. Now first of all, in inspiration we have diaphragm, external intercostal muscle, intercondral part of the internal intercostal. We have two intercostal muscles in the abdomen part, that is the external and the internal, but in internal only the intercondyle part. Deep inspiration, pectoral muscles, erector spinae and the scalene muscle. Expiration is a passive process, so no muscles required, only there is the elastic recoil of the chest wall. We'll talk about this. Forceful expiration, anterior abdominal wall muscle. Okay, now types of inspiration. We have mainly three types of inspiration: quiet, deep and forceful. Now in the quiet inspiration, all the three diameters should increase, because in inspiration anterior, posterior, transverse and vertical diameter should increase. So for increment in the anterior posterior diameter, there is elevation of second to sixth rib. To increase the transverse diameter, there is elevation of the seventh rib. While to increase the vertical diameter, of course, there is descent of diaphragm. Okay, so by this we can say that in quiet inspiration there is no elevation of the first rib. The first rib remains still. Now for deep inspiration, all the movements that were in the quiet inspiration are increased. Over here, first rib is also elevated by the help of scalene and the sternocleidomastoid muscle. The concavity of the thoracic spine is also reduced by the erector spinae muscle. Okay, now for the forceful inspiration. Now all the movements that were in the quiet and deep inspiration are exaggerated in the forceful inspiration. Now in this what happens is the scapula is actually elevated and fixed by levator scapulae muscle, trapezius muscle and the rhomboides muscle, so that the serratus anterior and the pectoralis minor muscle can easily act on the ribs and elevate it. The erector spinae muscle movement is also increased in order to reduce the concavity of the thoracic spine. Now expiration. Expiration, there is of two types, quiet and the deep. In the quiet, as I told you before, is a passive process, so by elastic recoil of the chest wall and the pulmonary alveoli, and also partly by tone of abdominal wall. Now for deep expiration, there is contraction of the abdominal muscle and the latissimus dorsi muscle. Now the applied aspects of the respiratory movement. Now first of all, dyspnea. Dyspnea is actually difficulty in the breathing by the patient, in which the patients are most comfortable on sitting up, leaning forward and fixing the arm. Now the patient feels good while in this position, because in this sitting position the diaphragm's position is the lowest level, allowing the maximum ventilation. Fixing of the arms fixes the scapula, so that the serratus anterior muscle and the pectoralis minor muscle can easily act on the rib to elevate the rib. Okay, now the diaphragm's position. Now diaphragm position is very important for a particular person or the patient, okay, to easily breathe. Now the height of the diaphragm in the thorax is variable according to the position of the body and the tone of the abdominal muscle. Okay, now it is highest, means the position of the diaphragm is highest in the lying supine position. When you lie down in the supine position, the diaphragm's position is at the highest point. So the patient is extremely uncomfortable, as he or she needs to exert immensely for the inspiration process, because diaphragm is at the highest position. So the thoracic cavity's volume is very less. The diaphragm is lowest while sitting position, as I told you before, so the person is easily able to breathe. The patient is quite comfortable, as the effort required for inspiration is the least one. The diaphragm is midway somewhat in position while standing, but the patient is too ill or exhausted to stand, so sitting position is the best. Now the main muscle of the respiration is the diaphragm. Now respiration occurs in two phases, inspiration and expiration. Inspiration occurs actively for 1 second and expiration passively for 3 seconds by the elastic recoil of the chest wall. Now in the young child up to 2 years of age, the thoracic cavity is almost circular in the cross section, so the scope for anterior posterior expansion is very less or limited. So such type of respiration in the young child is abdominal respiration, very important for the viva aspects. And in the pregnant lady or the advanced stage of pregnancy, the descent of the diaphragm is limited. So the type of respiration in the pregnant lady is thoracic inspiration, again very important for applied aspects in the viva. So this was all about the respiratory movement in the thoracic cavity. So hope you understood the whole lecture well. Thank you.